Got another good one for you. Child support was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court decisions are a judge's Achilles heel. It is their death knell. When you find Supreme Court decisions supporting your case, it's a wrap. Okay, let me read it to you. It's delicious. Okay, child support was declared unconstitutional in a Minnesota Supreme Court ruling for violating the separation of powers required by the Minnesota Constitution in Article 3, Section 1. Further, child support agencies' actions are also unconstitutional due to lack of probable cause. You don't even have to find case law. Just quote everything that I just said. Put that in a notice and send that to the clerk of court. And notate your case number if it's in the court, or send it to the child support agency with your case number with the child.
Ooh, this is bad for women wanting child support and popping kids left, right, and center.
If that parent is involuntarily unemployed, he or she is entitled to go to the Department of Revenue and request an immediate change or a modification to their parenting plan. I'll tell you right now, the Department of Revenue does not do that. It's required by federal law and state law. Doesn't get done. I add that the legislation as well as the child support services guidelines are very different. They're not congruent. In fact, it says in the Child Support Guidelines Handbook that if somebody is involuntarily unemployed or underemployed, you're supposed to take their actual income and apply it to the child support. It's really important, I think, that you see how these guidelines and how it really works. Because when you're really out there, it's very different than what I think your perspective is just looking at something black and white. I appreciate when you're looking at legislation, you're saying, there's the guideline. It seems clear enough. But out there in the real world, and that's in fact what I came here to speak about, it is not being applied correctly. It is not being applied evenly. And it's hurting a lot of people.
Child support is the most corrupt system in America.
Child support was never for the child to take possession of the money. Child support is in order for you to contribute to the well-being and raising of your child when you do not have them. So, meaning, however child support money is spent is however child support money gets spent, because it is paying someone back for what has already been done. If that was the case, the mother wouldn't be on the court order and it would be the child on the court order, and you would be having to pay this money to the child. But that's not what the case is, huh? No, you're not making any sense. I'm not understanding any of this. Because at the end of the day, is your child housed? Is your child fed? Is your child clothed? I don't believe you, because if it was really a concern that you were really like, my child's being neglected, you would have called CPS, not me. Then report it. You have a duty to your child, not to just pay child support, but also to care for their well-being. So if you really feel like your child is being abused and mom is just out spending money wherever she feels like it, call the authorities. Don't call me. No, I have an obligation to report factual threats, factual evidence. You just calling and saying she's spending my child support money on whatever she wants? Duh.
You're saying that a father pays $200 a month, and those $200 go to the mother's nails to be done, or the mum's hair to get done, or something, to get waxed. You're saying that's for the betterment of the child. You've definitely lost it then.
As single moms, it's important to talk about this kind of stuff because, you're not alone. You're not alone. My daughter was hysterically crying right before bed. And I normally don't come on here and talk about this part of single motherhood and these kinds of struggles. But it was so emotional for me. I have to talk about it. This is the weekend that she's supposed to go with her dad. And I think she just had some kind of like breakdown because it was so hysterical of, I don't want to choose, I don't want to choose, I want both of you. And it was just this whole thing. And my heart, like, if you're not in this position that I'm in, having to co-parent, being a single mother, and them getting to an age where they're like, they want both their parents there, like they don't understand, and I'm just trying to explain to her, like, this, you're not choosing, this is, you know, if you want to go, you go, if you don't want to go, you don't. But she just has this like internal struggle because she wants to be with me, but she feels like she has to see her dad, and she does want to see her dad, but it's just like, as a 6-year-old, like, I can't imagine that feeling and that struggle. It just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart because that's not something I ever wanted her to deal with. But that's our reality.
And that's what happens when you open your legs without accountability. It breaks the child ultimately. It lingers over them. And a moment or few of fun for you is a lifetime of hysteria for them.
Trump passes insane new child support law. I don't know if this is true or not, but I just saw this guy talking about how whoever is paying the child support is going to be the one that gets to claim the child on their taxes. So if you're a single mom or a single dad and you're not the one paying the child support, you're not going to get to claim them on your taxes. He said this is a law that Trump is trying to pass. That is insane to me, especially if you're a single parent. Like, what's the point in them even paying child support if they're going to take all the tax refund, especially for the people who have multiple children? I'm a single mom. I get child support, and my son's dad does not even see him at all. It's been 4 years since he's been in his life. He's not been in my son's life since he was 6 months old. My son's almost 5. I'm already barely making it as it is. Like, literally, paycheck to paycheck still, unfortunately. Hopefully TikTok will change that, though. Has anybody else heard anything about this? Because that would be the worst thing ever. Please let me know what you've heard or what you guys think. Repost this for me and engage, comment. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much.
The Georgia Child Support Worksheet has officially changed for the benefit of the non-custodial parent. So now beginning, from January 1st, 2026, moving forward, the courts now require a mandatory parenting time deviation for the non-custodial parent to be input into the child support worksheet, which will then reduce the child support obligation pretty significantly depending on the parenting time. So prior to this going into place in Georgia, a parenting time deviation was at the discretion of the judge, and a lot of times did not actually get put into the worksheet unless it was like 50-50 or something like that. However, now moving forward, whatever parenting time that non-custodial parent has gets input into that worksheet. And I am seeing a significant difference in the amount of child support that the non-custodial parent is paying. In fact, in some cases, I have seen it where the custodial parent actually is required to pay a little bit to the non-custodial parent. So this is a huge, huge, huge change for the child support guidelines in Georgia. And if you currently have a Georgia child support case where this was not input into the worksheet, then there's the potential that a modification could be filed. And if that modification is filed, then obviously the child support would be up for consideration, and that could significantly change the child support in your current action. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure what this is going to do in terms of like clogging the courts or causing issues. Obviously, anytime something new is put in place and we're seeing it roll out, we kind of have some growing pains, and there's a lot of things that the judges are going to have to kind of like see how they play out, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Lots of baby mamas are going to have to pay their own car note now.
Here's Joe from Georgia. So Donald Trump has posted on his Truth Social that men who pay child support will be able to claim their children as their dependents on their tax return. And the women who receive the child support will not. Now, that's not the way the tax laws work. The IRS says if the child lives with someone for 6 months or more of the year, they get to claim that child as their dependent. Now, the way it should work out is parents should be able to make this decision between themselves and alternate years, or either if they have more than one child, you claim one, I'll claim the other. But for Donald Trump to just blatantly come out and said that men will get the tax deductions and women won't. Did you know how much money that takes out of maybe a single mother's income for the year? She'll probably pay an additional $5,000 in taxes that she could have used to raise that child. And I will tell you, child support, and I know all about.
Sounds like equality to me.
I served my daughter's father the first day of this year. Why did I do that? After 2 years, I've given him a lot of grace in the situation. You know, he lives in D.C., I live in South Florida. I left due to him being not just verbally, but physically abusive to me and my animals in front of our kids. Stuff like that. He just was not a good role model for children, and I hate that I chose him to have a kid with him. Like, we were very much just like in a toxic trauma bond situation in the beginning. Happened very fast, you know, and things, not a good decision, you know. I take full responsibility. I take good care of my daughter. It doesn't matter how she got here. She's here. And he, on the other hand, thinks that he can come in and out and pick and choose when to be a parent, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm tired. Bare minimum I asked was for him to pay for $800 worth of daycare. I have my daughter 365, 24/7, minus the 2 nights that I allowed him to have her for overnight. Sometimes I was there, or my son. He was never really left unsupervised with my daughter, because I just have to make sure that I have some sort of witness or anything if anything happens, because I've been keeping receipts on his ass. I've kept receipts on him. Everything that I have, for what I can see, he will not be getting anything if I don't want him to have it. Period. But yet and still he chooses to act crazy towards me. Call me names. Tell me how he's not going to pay the child support. He'd rather go to jail before he pays child support. I'm only going to give what he is going to give, saying that I'm not an adult. I need to carry my weight. Other things, like just stuff like that, like a narcissist. And I feel like he's just projecting a lot in the situation of what he knows he's lacking. But, you know, I just feel at this point I'm taking him to get custody of my daughter. I'm getting custody of my daughter, and he has to pay me child support. I want sole custody. It is what it is. It's what we're going for, and I'm going to get it. I don't care at this point. And I've tried to be nice, but you can't parent with somebody who communicates in that type of way. But anyway, I served him on the first day of this year because not only did he just doesn't know how to respect boundaries. I asked him to not really ask to see her quite yet until we have a custody agreement. I'm going to file the paperwork. It costs $300. It takes quite a bit of time to fill out this paperwork, so I'm going to take my time. It took me maybe about, a month to really get around to getting it done, because I needed to budget myself and also take time to fill out this paperwork. It needs to be filled out properly. So it's a nice thick stack. Nothing fun to fill out, by the way. I just want to make sure you guys understand this is not really fun for us. I mean, unless you're a baller, you got a bunch of money and it's a big payout that I feel like I'm gonna get, and I'm done with you, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's fun for some bitches, but it's not fun for me. It wasn't. Anyway, he also only has like cash income. That is, in my mind, I'm about to go get a tattoo. But anyway, he only has cash income, so he comes at me like, oh, you're not gonna get anything, you're not gonna be able to prove my income. Oh, I've been screen recording his damn Instagram this whole time. He came down here recently. That's how I got his ass served, because he was trying to come down here and bother me. After I told him I don't want to really talk to you, I've been keeping it very short with him. I do make sure if he asks to talk to Gigi, he can talk to Gigi. I let him talk to him. I won't talk to him, but he can talk to her. Put her on FaceTime. Nothing to me. And this last time he wanted to be like, I want to make arrangements. I'm coming down there for New Year's, and I want to make arrangements to see my daughter. Okay. Meet me at this place. It's a kid's place. Y'all can play. I'm gonna sit at the front. Y'all talk to me. Go play with your daughter at the kid's place. Meet me there. and at first, I was upset when he told me he wanted to come, and I hadn't filled the paperwork out. I hadn't filed it. I went to hot yoga, y'all. I swear to God, I went to hot yoga. I came out that bitch with refreshed, like, oh, we're gonna go file this shit today, tomorrow. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this tomorrow. We're gonna fill this out today, file it tomorrow, because it's gonna be the last day I can file it. It was the 31st. Got up there, filed it. It was the worst part about it. The hardest thing was to find a process servicer on the first day of the year. They was not trying to fuck with me, but I did. Pay $85. Somebody else tried to charge me $300, but I paid $85. And we met at the place. Everybody was like, Ronnie, don't serve him in front of you. You don't need to do that. He's gonna get pissed. We're gonna be in a public place. And one thing about a narcissist, they do all that stuff, that crazy stuff, whenever it's nobody watching. But whenever it's a bunch of people, bunch of eyes on them, and he got criminal charges, he don't want to go to jail. He's been in jail before, he's been in prison too. The last thing he want to do is go back. So, I sure did serve him at the kid place when we met for our visitation with my daughter the first day of the year. Sure did. And he continued to play with my daughter, act like he had some sense. We took her to Build Fair, he bought her a bear, and that was it. So we're gonna see how that goes. But I'm watching two different shows, Stranger Things and Welcome to Derry. And at the end of those shows, the defeating the monster is to not be scared, not have fear. And to him, and for him, to me, he's a monster. And I had to tell myself, because whenever all this stuff was first going down, I promise you, I was so scared. I cried sometimes because I am scared of him a little bit and what he could do. It's my daughter, I love her. But I told myself, I'm not gonna be scared of this monster. I need to stand up for myself. I need to take up for myself. And I did. So let's hope that everything goes well for my daughter, really, because her safety and her comfort and her stability relies on me and relies on this situation going right. So did what I was supposed to do this year. Hope y'all did too.
So you used people who didn't help you make the decision to open your legs and have his kid to help you make him do it. This is the type of woman you just keep in an endless street rotation loop of being recreational use only just because. Thanks for watching Manhood. If you want access to exclusive episodes and want to support the channel, hit that join button and become a member. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if it hit home. Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. See you tomorrow.